This is Paul Price, School Board Director, Region C, talking about career compensation for Unionville teachers. My question, why is the Teachers Association complaining? This is my own personal views and may or may not reflect other views on the board. Teacher compensation reflects a number of things. Obviously, basic salary plus supplementals, medical, dental, and vision coverage, among the best around, term life insurance provided to the employees, and a lifetime annuity pension plan that's unlike anything you can get in the private sector these days. What is Unionville's salary range? Well, if you come right out of college with a bachelor's degree, you make $47,743. Our average teacher out of 330 full-time equivalent teachers, $74,798. Our maximum salary without any supplementals is over $101,400. These are the numbers in effect from the 2009-10 school year and again in 2010-11 under the terms of the status quo. A teacher who starts today at age 33 and works for the district for 30 years would likely have received that average salary of about $75,000 over their career if you counted in current dollars. They could easily end up at the top end of the grid before retirement at over $101,400, as about 35% of our teachers today have already done. They're already at the top end. They will be old enough to be eligible for full pension benefits under the current laws. That means they'll likely collect 75% of their final highest pay per year in retirement. And if they're at the top end of the range, 75% of that would be $76,070 per year in pensions. They will also be eligible for Social Security payments from the federal government as well. So they're going to be doing very, very nicely once they retire. The value of benefits received. Let's talk about that. It's a very important part of compensation. Unionville Chadds School District employees pay only 7.5% of the true cost of the medical, dental, and vision insurance. Until recently, there were no contributions from the employees for their own coverage at all. That just started about 2 years ago. In 2010-2011, the full cost of family coverage is estimated at almost $18,000, of which the taxpayer is subsidizing family coverage at $16,632 for the year. They're paying all but 7.5%. That's over $16,600 per year per employer if we're covering the full family. If the current price is representative of the future, the average taxpayer health care subsidy for a 30-year employee could easily total as much as $498,000, almost $500,000 over that employee's career. This is substantial money that the employee is being subsidized by the taxpayer. They get free term life insurance. And you know what? There is no free lunch. The benefit may not be extremely costly, but it's certainly worth at least a couple $100 a year for the $25,000 of coverage. That's about $6,000 or so in present value dollars over a 30-year career. The elephant in the room, Peasers. Let's talk about retirement. The actual cost of a lump sum immediate annuity for a 63-year-old that pays $76,000 per year, about what our high-end retirees get, would be $1.43 million. You'd need to accumulate about $47,666 per year over a 30-year career in order to fully fund that $76,000 a year pension. Now that would be done through contributions from the employee and from the school district and through internal growth. So it's not that you have to put in $47,000 a year, but you need to reach that amount on average each of those 30 years that you're working for the district. How much does the average employee actually contribute to their own pension per year? Well, let's take a look at that. Since most Unionville teachers pay 6.5% of their pay towards their pension, it's pretty easy calculation. 6.5% of the average salary of about $75,000 comes to $4,862 per year. That's the employee contribution. The taxpayer's not paying that money. However, what's the true cost? Well, we already said you need about $47,666 in actual average per year and the taxpayers likely have to make up at least $25,000 annually to achieve adequate actuarial funding. Now, we haven't been putting $25,000 a year away, and that's the reason pensions are so underfunded. But it's only because they were never truly accounting for the true cost of these annuities. The actual cost is not exact. It will depend on investment returns over their entire career. So these are estimates, but the best estimates that we can come up with is that the taxpayer subsidy is about $25,000 per year. This is a huge recurring pension subsidy that has not been addressed by the Teachers Association in their bargaining with the board. Here are the scheduled increases under the new House bill that was passed last year in Pennsylvania. It's taking this year's rate of 5.64% to payroll, and within the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to go up 392%. That's a huge, huge increase. You're talking almost 4 times the what we're paying today. And where's that money going to come from? I'll tell you where it's not going to come from. 100% of the proposed increases must be paid by the taxpayers. Current Unionville-Chadds-Ford teachers won't pay 1 cent of this hugely increased PSERS cost. Not 1 penny will come from the teachers. The Teachers Association simply ignores this huge budget drain in making their economically impossible to meet salary requests. They feel that the PSERS funding level, at least the union representatives that we're dealing with, feel that PSERS funding is not their problem. Let's total up what we've done so far. If you're an average employee, you make 30 years at about $75,000 for an average salary over your career of about $2.393 million. You're getting free life insurance that's worth at least $6,000, maybe more. You're getting a taxpayer subsidy for health care that could run as high as almost $500,000 a year, $500,000 over your career, not per year. You're getting a taxpayer subsidy for PSERS that over the 30 years, the true actuarial cost is likely to be $750,000 approximately. The grand total in what you received and what the taxpayers had to subsidize comes to about $3.648 million. These do not include FICA costs, Social Security and Medicaid pay, or any supplementals that you might be earning. $3.648 million divided by 30 years comes out to almost $122,000 per year on average over a 30-year career. And those, obviously, the subsidy for health care and for PSERS are estimated, but they're really pretty good guesses. They're not wild estimates. They're probably pretty close to accurate. Let's add in the pensions and see what really is happening, because that's the big one. 20 years of pensions for a high-end retiree at $76,070 comes to over $1.5 million through age 83. So that person who started at 33 and worked 30 years to 63 and then lives to be 83, which is not at all out of the realm of possibility these days, would have collected another $1.5 million in pensions after they finished teaching. Total direct salary and subsidies, we already talked about on the previous page, was about $3.6 million. Add in that 20-year pension payments at $1.5 million, and you have a grand total career compensation of $5.17 million. That comes to about $172,334 for every year of active service in a 30-year career with a 20-year retirement that follows. Unionville-Chadds-Ford teachers will also be receiving Social Security benefits above and beyond the amounts described above, so they're going to live very, very well in retirement. Are Unionville-Chadds-Ford teachers underpaid, as the union likes to represent? I think you need to decide for yourself now that you know the facts. Should we be forced, as a board, to cut programs and outsource services simply to continue giving pay raises to people who are already extremely well compensated? We know there are thousands of well-qualified teachers ready and willing to work for Unionville-Chadds-Ford at the same or lower compensation prices than those in place right now. When do we say enough is enough? Just a question, only you can answer it. Thanks for your time. This has been Dr. Paul Price of the Unionville-Chadds-Ford School District.